you will never be ready for this to start something. You should decide in minutes and start. I mean, take an action. If you were gonna start thinking that, okay, it's not appropriate time, okay, then what will gonna happen if something will gonna, come out like that? You will never be ready for this kind of decisions in your life and changings in your life. So you should to just start immediately.
Hello and welcome to the Randall Osché Podcast, where honest conversations take the lead. Each week, we sit down with entrepreneurs, artists, thinkers, and change makers to unpack how they got from there to here and what they learned along the way. Real stories, no filters, lessons earned through experience. So you can take what's useful and leave the rest. Whether you're tuning in during your commute, a workout, or while making dinner, we're glad you're here. So take a seat, relax, grab a cup of tea, and join in the conversation. Now, let's get into this week's episode.
Mari Mushku, owner of Mamali in New York City, which is a Georgian bistro in the West Village. Mari, welcome to the show. If you want to elaborate on that short introduction for our listeners, you can go right ahead.
Hi, Randall. First of all, I want to say that it's really nice to meet you. And I wanted to say hello to your people who are watching to your show. And I'm really happy that you're really interested with my story and about my cafe. As you said, it's a Georgian bistro, but Georgia, not Atlanta, like the state of Georgia. This is a country, Georgia. And yeah, it's my first location. The name is Mamali. And yeah, we are located in New York City and West Village. I'm going to try to tell my story today.
I appreciate you being here to tell your story. You said first location, so I'm going to start there. So we have ambitious plans.
Yes, I'm not kind of like ambitious person, but I have a plan, of course, to growing to improve my abilities, of course. We'll see. I don't want us to talk about the future, step by step.
When did the doors open at the cafe?
Oh, it was so weird because I was not going to open the door at the day when we opened the door because I was not ready, to be honest, for that. But when I saw the customers from Italy, they were traveling in New York. We are knocking on my door. We want espresso. And I was like, okay, come on, forget about everything. So we need to open the door. And this is how it started. And it's happened in July 12th. So from July 12th, we are serving a lot of people nonstop for 16 hours in a day and 7 days in a week.
Yeah. So you're a full-time owner-operator then, right?
Yes. I'm everything in my cafe.
How many espressos do you make during a day?
Oh my God. I don't know. Maybe one more than a 100 and less than a 300 for now.
Yeah. That's about as many espressos as I drink in a day. No.
Yeah, because I don't have only espresso. I have iced chai latte, matcha latte.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I wanted to, I guess, kind of take a step back and set the stage here a little bit. There was a recent viral moment that I saw.
Oh yeah, I'm so famous.
That I saw.
Like that.
Yeah, Mari was part of, unfortunately, I suppose, because we can get into that, but that's why I wanted to bring it up. So there was a bit of a rude customer, I'll say, but you just want to walk through that conversation you're having with that customer, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. So first of all, I will say that I worked in hospitality for 3 years, and there was not kind of the same situation, but I was like, in this industry, always something happened, during a day. But that was the first time for me as kind of this rudeness from the customer, because I'm usually so nice with the customers and they like me. But so what happened is that I was recording in the morning my new strawberry ice latte, and this customer entered at my cafe, and I don't know how to say, but I mean, I felt the vibe, I'm sure that you know what I mean. People can feel, the people, what their intention or something, right? And as soon as he arrived, it was like, was acting like so strange, not really nice. And just I changed the position of my camera, which I did not turn off. And this is how I recorded the whole video.
Full optional though. I'm not sure if it's your accent, but are you saying?
I'm from Georgia. Maybe my English is not really good. But
Okay, well you're working in America, so you should speak good English. I don't. That's not an excuse. How long have you been here for?
For 4 years.
4 years. You didn't think to learn better English.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have another? Is there another owner here that speaks better English?
I'm the owner.
Okay, well I don't understand what you're saying, so I'm going to leave you to it. Maybe next time you can learn better English. Next time that I come.
But why are you screaming?
Well, I'm not screaming at you.
You're screaming now. Screaming, and it's not really nice. It doesn't matter.
But you not speaking English, okay? You're wasting my
I'm
time.
trying.
You're
I'm
trying to. Is it bowl or is it a bone?
Okay.
Are you serving me a bone?
I think it's the.
Because I don't want to eat a bone.
No,
you
I'm
said
not
bone.
going. No.
You said bone. All right. Have a wonderful day. Go learn some English.
So he was asking me the question from my menu. And because there was a lot of, I mean, we are the Georgian bistro, right? So it's not really surprise there is something like the Georgian foods, right? Because, that's why it's a Georgian bistro. That's why I'm from Georgia. And so, I mean, he was asking me a lot of questions from the menu. Of course, he wasn't going to order anything. He was just like, on this mode. And yeah, he raised voice. I don't know why, but I noticed maybe as soon as he finds out that I was the owner, he got angry somehow. I don't know. But to sum up, I think he is kind of like narcissist person, I guess. And he was trying to muck me up for something. And like, this is how it happened. Yeah, he didn't like my accent. I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I have an accent sometimes. And sometimes I don't know a lot of English words, but still.
Yeah, I mean, how many languages do you speak? I mean, at least two that I know of. You speak any other ones?
Okay, so Georgian and English, you got it, I guess. So there is another Turkish because it's our neighbor in Georgia, I mean.
Yeah.
And kind of like a little bit Russian too.
Yeah.
Because my whole family knows Russian and they were talking with me from my childhood in Russian. So
you know 4 languages, and I think that your English is fine. Like,
hopefully that will be my question with you.
Yeah, I would love to understand how many languages that gentleman speaks. I bet you it's less than 4. You posted that video. I mean, I saw it on TikTok. It was 6 days ago.
But I posted after. No, it's 6 days ago, but I posted this video after the accident, like 5 days later, because I wasn't going to post this because I was like, I've never been like in a TikTok, I'm never using the TikTok before or even Instagram, but because as you are a cafe owner, that's what I'm saying, you need to be so social, you need to introduce your cafe, what you're doing to the people. That's why I decided to start something, I'm not really good in this, but so that's why I didn't want to post the video, and I was like, okay, but what is so interesting in this? Why I need to show the people that I was kind of mocked up, on that day. But my friends from the university here in New York, they told me that it's in New York, you should to post, you should to share. You're doing really good and really hard. So that's why I decided, okay, why not? And I was at cafe, I was working, I posted and that's it. And I don't know what happened. People were coming at the cafe and I saw your video and I was like, we do. And
yeah.
Because I'm saying that I wasn't really expected that.
Yeah, I mean, for context, that video of you, the guy confronting you, I suppose I'll say, had like 3.5 million views the last time I looked. You do a good job of, doing videos for the cafe, of like making lattes, etc. So it's part of what you do to market your business.
Yeah.
But like in context, those videos have 30,000, 70,000, 100,000 views, which is excellent. But this one is disproportionately like more popular, and we probably know the reason why. From that, though, I mean, one of the things I like to draw out on the podcast is how challenges can lead you to a better place, or how getting fired from a job can lead you to like a life-changing alternative, right? It set you on a different, better path. So this one, irritable gentleman who didn't like your accent, who probably speaks less than 4 languages, unlike yourself, you post this video, probably anybody in that situation, those are conversations you don't want to have. Like, we're not trying to create that kind of content. You're just doing your job, trying to create some marketing for your business.
Yeah.
But then you've been shown support because of that. So maybe talk a little bit about how that negative situation has created other positive situations for you and your business and maybe the trajectory of that journey.
Yeah. In Georgia, we Georgian people say that sometimes when something doesn't go really well, we say that we're gonna have something happy end or something like that, right? We say that God's have another good plan for you, you know? And this is what happened exactly. I mean, this accident turned into a really huge love and turned into like support. And to be honest, I really don't care anymore about the guy because what I see from the other 3 million people right around me from all over the world, because the people we are calling me from Switzerland, from Canada, from other state of the USA, from even Georgia, my relatives, my friends, and I saw and I felt a really huge support, and I was crying during these holidays because I can't believe that it still exists, this kind of people that they can support. I never always, when I was watching some videos before on the internet, right, and I was reading the comments, support comments, right? I was like, okay, but this is the internet. I mean, nothing, but it's so powerful. The people we are coming, people we are calling me. And sometimes when you feel so bad and when you think and questioning yourself and you think that not enough, these kind of people help you to be more stronger, give you a power and strength. And this is what happened. So right now I'm so happy, really. And I don't know why I deserve this, but the universe turns this moment into the positive way. I've got a lot of amazing people around me, and I really appreciate it, and I'm really happy for that. I'm so grateful. And yeah, whatever happens in the life, that everyone has a bad moments and the good moments, right? Everywhere is a bad and good people, right? It doesn't matter. We have to believe that there are a lot of more amazing people than these kind of jerks who are going to support you and who are going to be behind you to support you, to protect you.
I think humans, we have a bit of a negativity bias, and I think it's because we have an animalistic instinct to protect ourselves, and so we have to be on the lookout for negative situations. But unfortunately, it's 2025 and we don't need to hunt for our dinner every night or be worried about somebody to come steal our dinner.
You can come in my bistro and I'm going to feed you the Georgian amazing.
Exactly. It's unfortunate that situations like this, people then want to come out and support without just coming out and supporting you from the beginning. But I think the blessing here is that this negative situation has created many positive situations, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're connecting because of it, and I'm grateful for that. And if it wasn't for the popularity of that video, I don't think that it would have come across my feed.
I won't be able to record this video with you, and you will never be interested. You will never hear about the Georgian bistro, maybe.
That's
so
right.
Now the Georgian bistro.
Yeah, it's on my places to visit, which I was looking at some of the reviews, and we'll get into that in a moment.
I don't know really what happened, but the people, the internet, we were working at the same time. They were coming in person, they were calling, they were writing the reviews in the Google, and they were doing anything what they can do. Yeah. And I don't know, I can't believe, really.
Yeah. So we had one negative moment, right? And that's created many positive moments that significantly outweigh that one negative interaction with that gentleman. There was a video I think I saw where somebody commented or called your bistro and asked that they wanted to support you and buy somebody a drink there. Did I understand? Tell me about that story.
Oh, that actually, so I didn't want to say that before, but I will say, of course. So the people I mentioned before, that the people we are calling me from Switzerland, from Canada, from South Africa, from all over the world, but there were a lot of people from California I want to mention too, by the way. So they sent me the money via Zelle and asked me to give to the customers, that drinks, maybe wine or coffee or something, because as you know, we're coffee and a wine bar, so we do also the cocktails and the wine. And this is what happened exactly. I recorded one of them video actually at the day, but what my plan is that to after maybe next week or something, I plan to record another video, and I wanted to show all these people who to send the money, for this, and I want to show them I'm going to give to the customers, to the other people outside of my cafe, the coffees on their behalf. So I was going to do that, and I'm sure they were going to see that, they were going to watch this video, and they were going to be happy, because I wanted to answer all these supports by this way, like from this way. So
Yeah.
yeah, what happened was that we were like hanging out. It was like a normal rainy New York night. And yeah, one of the customer called me and told me that, I'm sending now the money and please just gift it to your customers. The drink from my side.
Yeah.
And so I did it. Yeah, it was a Serena. I remember the name.
I love that. I mean, the other thing I noticed from doing the podcast, and I think I've, probably recorded over 30 so far, I've released 20 some episodes, but there's like common themes that I've recognized. And one of them, I think I realized this on like my 5th episode, is like people need people.
Yeah.
A lot of times we try to accomplish things ourselves, but in order to get from where you want to go, from where you're at to where you want to go, if you want to accomplish a big thing, you have to rely on a community of people. Like, maybe that's your family, maybe that's your best friends, maybe that's random people that saw a TikTok, right? But like people need people. And I think it's beautiful that a negative experience has turned into so many beautiful experiences and will continue to do so.
I mean, for me, it's really important. The community means a lot. It's changed a lot of things. When, I felt so alone before that day, but after that day, I felt that I have a lot of friends around the world. And it doesn't matter what I'm going to share. Right now, I have a community on the TikTok or on Instagram, right? So I have a people and I can share my emotions and my story, right? And there is a lot of, to be honest, to say to them, because I had a really lot of bad moments in my life, and one day I will gonna share this everything with them, because why it's important, because sometimes when you're scrolling your TikTok and you find someone with the same story, with the same accident, with the same life, you feel that you are not alone.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes really, like, how to say, but it's nice sometimes. You're not struggling alone in this world, that there is someone on another side of the world who are struggling the same thing. And at the moment you wanted to share your story to that person. You wanted to be connected to that person. You wanted to support that person because you feel the same thing, what they feel, and this is actually the community. This is the humanity, actually. That's why it's so powerful. And that's why it's important to share the emotions to the people, because sometimes there are a lot of people who are struggling and questioning themselves, that I'm not enough and blah, 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 and sometimes it's really important and necessary for the other people to share your story.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to do, actually, because I'm sure that I had a lot of bad days in my life. So
I mean, you're starting to share your story right now, and we're grateful for that. I was looking at your website, and I think getting into the start of the bistro here, I read that you came to the United States. Your parents saved tuition money, then you had tuition money to go to school. And the way I understand it, correct me if I'm wrong, but you took that money and you said, I don't need an education.
They didn't know. They didn't know.
Okay, this is even better. So you took the tuition money that your parents saved and sent you to the United States to get an education. And you said, I have a better idea, parents. I'm going to start a bistro. So tell me about that.
So, okay, what happened is that I have a bachelor's degree in law in my country, so I decided to continue my master in the law here. And because I'm only one child, plus my zodiac sign is Leo, so they were taking care about me from my childhood, and so they were saving up money all the time for my future, And when I decided to continue studying here, they gave me money. And they really, they trust me really a lot, and I really appreciate it. So, and they told me that, okay, you can use this, but for your studying only. Okay, Dad, Mom, I wanted to go to the USA. This is my dream country, and I wanted to continue my studying there. This is the best destination where I can get the amazing, appropriate knowledge and blah, blah, blah. And I came here, and in New York, it's so hard to survive in New York. So hard, especially when you're immigrant, when you're the international student, and you have not the right, to work. And so I decided to quit from my university and continue working as a part-time, as a full-time, sometimes as a bartender, sometimes as a barista, and blah, blah, blah. And I had some savings, of course, plus, because I was working during 4 years. And I collected this everything together. And I decided to start my dream, to make it true, and I asked to my aunt, right? Am I saying correctly? Yeah. Who is living in Italy for 20 years, and she's my big supporter. But I want to say that my parents have no idea that I opened a cafe. They still think that I'm still studying something else, you know.
They don't know today.
They don't know. They don't know. And I'm sure that they won't be able to get that. Even that right now it's so viral, and my friends also in Georgia saw this video, but they are not the TikTokers, you know, they don't use this. They know Russian and Georgian, not the English, and thank you so much that they choose the Russian from the beginning.
All
So
right.
they have no idea. Yeah. It's crazy, I know.
I've talked about this before, but I'm always curious about people's, I guess why I asked the question is like people have different relationships with like taking risks.
Yeah.
And
I'm so risky person. Oh my God.
yeah, I think if you want to go and get something, there's going to be a risk. Without
Yeah.
risk, there's no reward. And
Yeah.
if you want a higher return, you have to take a higher risk, right? That's how it works. Taking your tuition money and then opening up a cafe is like that's a risk. So like, how did you get comfortable with making that decision? How were you like, oh, I mean, were there other business ideas, or were you like, no, I'm gonna open up this bistro because this is what I want to do. I miss Georgian food, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like a risky person, to be honest. I like this kind of life. For example, how to say, I'm so afraid to climb on a tree because I don't want to fall. I don't want it. And I want to climb to the tree. But these kind of decisions always make me feel like alive, you know, and sometimes it's really necessary. And you know what? I would say you will never be ready for this to start something. You should to decide in minutes and start. I mean, take an action. If you were gonna start thinking that okay, it's not appropriate time, okay, then what will gonna happen if something will gonna come out like that? You will never be ready for this kind of decisions in your life and changings in your life. So you should to just start immediately when you want it too much, when you have a desire, and when you want it to wish to like to start something on your own. But yeah, I'm kind of like a risky person, and I don't know. I always wanted to have something mine, you know? And I like this. I feel comfortable in this industry. I love people. I love working with them. I love when I see the smiling faces and when I see they are laughing, especially in my establishment, in my cafe, right? Because it's right now, it's like a home for me, you know? And it makes me feel alive. It makes me happy. And that's why I decided to want this. I wanted to be a host for these people, you know, in my home. So that's why I decided to take the risk. But it was so hard. And sometimes when I take a risk in the life, I don't think a lot at the moment, but after that, I'm so afraid. I'm crying a lot. I'm hiding in the darkest hole. And I'm like that, okay, I don't want it anymore. But you know what? In Georgia, we say that if you wanted to drink a champagne, you should to take a risk.
Yeah,
Otherwise, yeah, you
I like
can't.
that. I like that. So if you don't mind sharing, you obviously needed money to start the bistro,
Yeah.
and you use your tuition money to do that. How much like financial runway did you have? How much did you like on a scale of I can go years without this being profitable and I'll be able to still have a roof over my head to I need this to start making profit day one? Where were you on that spectrum?
So, first of all, I will say that of course, before I started this, I calculated everything, all the expenses and everything what I needed. But this industry kind of this, you will never be able to calculate the exact numbers. And I'm not really good in the numbers, actually. That's why I'm studying in the law and math. So, and yeah, it was kind of really there was a lot of expenses which I did not calculate it before and I wasn't expected, you know. And I had really a lot of bad moments and during the process when I was ready to give up, really. But at the moment I was like, I was thinking about it, what else I can do. I used all my credit cards and my credit score is like somewhere, I don't know where it is. So, and I asked to my godfather who is living here in the USA to become like sponsor, investor or something. And I get the rest of the money from him. But right now, still need the time. We are doing really good. This is our first month, right? And we are doing really good. That I don't need to take the money from my pocket to survive the place because it's really good. But still, I think maybe 1 year will gonna be enough to cover everything.
When you talked about earlier when you opened up, July 12th is what you said.
Yeah.
We're recording this August 25th. It will be released later this fall. But in my mind, I was thinking July was like soon, but like months ago. Like it's been a month and a half, maybe.
Month and a half, yeah.
So like if you're turning a profit, right? Yeah, I mean...
No, it's not kind of like a profit, how to say, because I have a lot of loans and like, a lot of debts, right? So I need to cover up this everything, right? Because I'm not going to use all this parents' money because I did not use this in the purpose, right? I mean, they gave me this money for my education, but I did not use this for my education, right? So I will gonna definitely give them back. 1 year later than when I was going to tell them that, mom, dad, so I opened a cafe. I'm a lawyer now in a cafe.
The other interesting thing about this to me is I am pro education. I'm pro lifelong learner, but I think you have to be really mindful, especially in the United States where you have to pay for advanced education, of what you're doing that for, like where you're getting the education from and the reason why you're getting the education, because it's expensive, right?
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that somebody can take a chunk of money if they have it, and instead of paying for a master's degree in the United States, that they open up a business and they get an education that way. Like, what's better if you want a master's, and I know you were considering getting a master's in law, but if you want to get a master's degree in business, what better way than to start a business, right? If I'm going to spend $50,000, $100,000 on a master's degree, I can just invest that into a business and try to make that a profitable entity. Like that's what we're trying to do anyways. So, I mean, you might not be getting the education you intended in law, but you're certainly getting an education in running a bistro in the West Village in New York City.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my opinion, for me, it's always preferred to get more practice in my life. So I would say that I love reading books, but if you can't to bring this everything from books to your reality, you won't be able to figure out what's going on exactly in the life, For example, in my case, I will say that my personality has changed totally after when I get the decision. And I'm pretty sure that studying on the master in the law won't be able to give me same abilities, same skills, and same personality as it is right now, because life sometimes is more harder than you think, and then maybe your master and your education won't be able to help you in the emergency situations. But the living in the process, with the process, when you are in the process and you are every day your brain is thinking about it to find a way and find the solution. You are already getting a practice for the life, and you are ready to continue your life stronger and more confident. It's helped me to be more confident, it's helped me to be more patient. It's helped me to be more believe in myself. I don't know, for me it works, it's better. And even that I'm sometimes ready to give up, even that I still think that was the best decision in my life what I got before. But it depends. For example, in my case, there was a lot of comments from Georgia, not from the relatives or someone, but from Georgia, there was a lot of comments that you should to continue the studying, what you're doing, girl, and blah, blah, blah. But this is what makes me happy. And this is what makes me more stronger. This is what I like to do. And so it doesn't matter if someone likes to be a lawyer, or if someone likes to study the entire life, you can do whatever you want. But this is what makes me happy, and I'm doing this. It depends, But I will say that for me, it's more fun to learn life. You know what I mean? Because this process showed me a lot of bad moments, and there was a lot of challenging. So, and right now I'm kind of ready for the future. And
Let's take a quick break from today's episode. If you're enjoying the conversation, take a second to like, follow, or subscribe wherever you're tuning in. We'd really appreciate it. You can also find us on Instagram at Randall Osché. That's RANDALLOSCHE. And check out more at podcast.randallosché.com, including show notes and other resources from today's episode. All right, back to the conversation.
What was the spark that made you want to open up Mamali? And was there a moment when you knew you had the space to create it?
So when I started, I've never worked in the hospitality before. Before I moved to New York, Georgia, I was only studying and that's it. But here, living in New York changed a lot of things. And that's what I was saying before, that when you stay more than 2 months in New York, you should just start surviving. You should just start protecting yourself and start planning your future, right? New York is really hard to survive, but it's really good city to grow your personality. So, and I was like, from the first day when I started the part-time job as a barista, and I was contacted with like 300 of people during a day, and I have a really amazing relationship with them. I was like, okay, I wanted to introduce these people my childhood, my grandmother's recipes. I wanted to introduce them what means the Georgian bistro, what means the Georgian sufra. Sufra means like the table, foods, and people are gathering together for the dinner. And so that's exactly what inspired me to open something mine.
So
yeah.
The spark for you started working as a barista, you were in contact with 300 people or so a day, and you started to form relationships with them, I imagine, and you wanted to share a piece of Georgia with them, right? So that's part of the genesis of your cafe. Fast forward, part two of that question would be, when was the moment that you were like, I have to do this? Was the cafe space like vacant and you walked past, you're like, oh, that's...
So I put it from my last job where I was a manager and then kind of like a huge coffee company. And I was kind of like mad to the whole management, to the whole group, because I don't like how the corporations are working with their team. I don't like this way, because sometimes for me it seems like that, they don't care. They are acting like you don't worth it. It's not a problem. You can go. You can leave. We're gonna find immediately, to replace you. I don't like this everything. This is how the corporation looks like in New York, especially. And I was kind of like mad about this something what happened before, because my person, as I say, like I have a Georgian personality, and sometimes for me it's kind of like really hard to deal with the people here, because I'm kind of like, how to say, I'm so honest. When I feel something wrong, I say it directly, and I don't like, okay, no worries. And, I'm not this kind of person. And that's one of the reason why I quit it from my last job. And I was like, and no, and I hear it from my friends, from the company, that my ex-boss say that she will gonna come back because she won't be able to find something else. And I was like, okay, now I'm gonna show you.
Yeah.
And this is how it started. That was a moment when I catch this moment and I start looking the spaces, appropriate places for my cafe, because I want it to be something special. But because the location means a lot, not only for the business, just you should to feel comfortable in your location and your cafe, right? And right now, because it's my home, because I spend more time than I spend at home, right? So it's important to feel more comfortable. And this is how I felt that it was the right moment in my life to start. So it's giving me a courage for this to jump.
Yeah. I mean, some people need that, I think everybody needs it. I think a smaller part of that group of people actually acts on it, right?
Yeah.
I find that a lot of times people want to drink the champagne, as you say, but they're not willing to do the thing to drink the champagne, right?
Yes, you're right.
You wanted to drink the champagne and you're willing to take the risk to make that happen for yourself. So people say that food is a memory. And as I think back, like I've cooked in many restaurants, I think there's a lot of memories that are tied to meals, food, gatherings. What type of memory do you hope your guests take away from eating at your bistro?
I guess I hope they felt my childhood, because the inspiration comes from my childhood, actually, because everything in my cafe, we have actually some kind of American style breakfast, of course, because it's kind of like hard to introduce only Georgian food to the people, right? Because they needed time to used to with it, So that's why I decided to maybe let's do the mix to feel more comfortable, and the Georgian foods, what I have in my cafe, right? I think and I hope that customer gets like the vibe which comes from the childhood, because it's exactly made with my grandma's recipes. And this is what makes it something special. It's not fancy. It doesn't look like special servings or like, soup on the top or something like that. It's not like that. It's so homey. It's so tasty, so delicious, and it feels that someone taking care about when they were preparing the food, because it feels like that the grandma is preparing the food for her child, grandchildren, this is how it feels for me. And I hope that my guests feel the same, because everything, like my cafe's idea, the name, the concept, everything comes from my childhood. Because I think that the childhood is the best memory of everyone. It doesn't matter. You, me, right? The childhood is the best thing which I ever had before.
Yeah, being an adult's tough. So your grandmother's recipes, right?
Yeah.
So who makes the recipes now?
It's a Georgian lady. And I tried to, I'm so sorry about that, but I stole her from the other restaurant. Yeah, because she is exactly from my village, and she knows even my grandparents. And this makes it so special for me, And so she's an incredible chef. She knows everything exactly how to do it, what is the exact Georgian taste. And yeah, we have my grandma's recipe book, and so we do the same things.
Yeah, I love that. Obviously, you mentioned like you have to balance introducing Georgian food into like an American population, right? And you're a business, so you have to make money. And if you just sell things that people aren't familiar with, you're likely not to generate as many sales as you need to stay in business. So I completely understand where you're at, and I think you're taking the right approach for what it's worth, that you have to balance what's on your menu to appeal, and then maybe you'll gather like your audience of people that want to eat more Georgian food, or you can slowly introduce it. But how did you go through that process of developing your menu, of balancing maybe more American dishes that people are familiar with while also balancing introducing Georgian dishes into it?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm trying to give them to taste, like the samples, to try to feel it and to figure out what is that. Because to be honest, like Georgian names of the foods is kind of like even so strong to pronounce. For example, my favorite Georgian dishes is Georgian soup dumplings, but the Georgian way is we say the khinkali, which is so hard, right? So people still needed time. That's why I decided, okay, let's start with American, because they know this and this is good for the business, right? Before they were gonna introduce with the Georgian food, I need to sell something, right? To exist, to survive, right? So that's why I make this balance between the American and the Georgian. And plus, there are a lot of people who doesn't like maybe the Georgian food, and they're so resistant. They are so like, I want just American breakfast, avocado toast, and that's it. There are kind of these people, and I wanted to appreciate their vision and their taste. So I'm open for everyone. So if you wanted to get the American style breakfast, it's okay. This is the cafe where you can feel comfortable, right? And if you wanted to try something from my homeland, we have something special for you from my grandma's recipe. Like, it's so hard to balance this everything, but you should to introduce. I'm the representative of my food. I'm the representative of my menu, of my cafe, of my country. And so I'm trying to introduce them exactly the same way what I feel about the food, right? What I feel about my country. So when the customer is coming and enters a cafe, we have a history lecture, because I'm like, it comes from the Georgia, this part and this part, and we do the wine, and we are like, it was started 8,000 years ago, and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like truly historic, history lecture, because otherwise it's impossible to introduce them what it is.
Yeah.
But they love it. They love it. When sometimes I go to the customer and asking their dishes, plates are totally empty, and I'm asking, did you like the food, sir? And no, just my food's just disappeared. I don't know where it's gone yet, because they love it. And I'm so happy about it.
What's the number one menu recommendation? I want a Georgian menu recommendation. And what wine would you pair it with?
The wine is from my vineyard, actually, because my grandparents has a vineyard back to Georgia. My godfather is an importer of wine here in the USA, and he brings my wine from my vineyard. So I have my wines at my cafe, and of course, the customers always interested in to try this because the Georgian wine is totally different thing because our technique of making of wine is totally different, and plus the history of producing the wine is also kind of like so old. We started 8,000 years ago, really, and it's kind of like a lot, and the people are really interested in, okay, let's try of how it tastes preparing the wine from a clay, and it's kind of like a different taste, and they really like it. And this is the number one suggestion in the menu, of course. And the second in the food menu is my favorite dish, which is the Georgian soup dumplings, and I love it. Oh my God, I love it. I adore it. I mean, so good. You should to try, really. You
Yeah.
should to try.
Well, I'm gonna come to the West Village just to go to your cafe. I'm serious about that. So tell me about the atmosphere. Just paint the picture for you. If someone comes into your cafe on a rainy day, what do you hope that how they feel? Right? Like when they just pop in, like say that let's assume that they didn't go on Google Maps, they didn't read your reviews, they didn't see on Instagram how delicious your food looks, but they're just walking down the sidewalk one day, it starts raining and they want to get out of the rain, so they hop into your cafe. Like what kind of feeling do you hope that they leave with?
Just imagine it feels like that. You like a girl. This is a Valentine's Day, and this is the time to kiss her. And it start raining, and background is playing Etta James. So
Yeah.
something told me it was over. This is how it feels exactly when it's a rainy day in New York in my cafe because
Yeah.
I love Etta James, and there is a candles on the tables. We have a huge windows, and you can see everything, the whole village. Plus, the place of my cafe, the building is kind of a mysterious building because it's an iconic historical landmark building in New York. And it makes more special. Plus, it's the center of the West Village, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I love that. So plenty of places to eat in New York, right? Plenty of cafes,
Yeah.
plenty of places to pop in and get a coffee or a drink. Why do you think your customers keep coming back to you and your cafe?
I think for me, I love delicious food, of course. I love because I'm the Georgian girl, so and I know how it tastes. But still, I think that people are looking for the vibe. For example, when I wanted to hang out with my friends somewhere, I don't care about the food and I don't care about the wine. I mean, something, right? I care about the vibe. If how more comfortable we're gonna be for me and for my friends to hang out there, to laugh, to smile, to make it like a memory. This is what I guess is like, the spark about my cafe, and they wanted to come back again because I'm kind of like sociable. I think I'm kind of really positive person, and this vibe comes from my
Yeah.
cafe when you enter it. So
This is a great segue. I was looking at some of your Google reviews and I was impressed because you have like 4.9 stars, which is, out of 5 stars, right? You can't ask for anything better.
yeah,
177 reviews so far. So like the sample size is pretty decent.
this is the support. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is example of support.
And one of the customers you had, they left a review. Her name's
Mm-hmm.
Jules. So I'm going to try to read this
Mm-hmm.
because I think it does a great job of just reinforcing what you said. But Jules says in the review, can't say enough great things about this place. There are so many places in the West Village, but this place definitely sets itself apart. The drinks are great and the Georgian food is absolutely amazing, absolutely delicious, and so different from anything else you can get around here. I think I found my regular spot, she continues to say. Service is great and vibes were immaculate. We'll definitely be coming back, especially for the soup dumplings.
You see,
Yeah.
definitely favorite one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm impressed. Like to go from not having a business to having a
Yeah,
business to being open for a month and a half to be
sure.
having 177 customers like alone, but you have 177 reviews. Like, I think you're off to a great start, and you're probably not too far away from opening up that second location.
Somewhere near with you too.
Yeah.
Try Georgian some dumplings.
Come to Florida. Happy to have you. Couple questions I always like to ask my guests is, what's the most influential book you've ever read?
I don't know. I have a lot of favorite books, but I guess I was gonna say the writer, okay? Because I love all the books what he wrote, and right? He's my favorite one. It changed my personality. The Idiot, the brother of Karamazov, that's my favorite one. Yeah. And there are a lot of Georgian writers too, which changed my vision about the life too. But I don't know. Yeah, if you wanted to grow as a person, I will recommend the Dostoevsky, because Dostoevsky is kind of like a doctor of a soul, of spirit.
Okay, powerful. We'll include that recommendation in the show notes so people can read about it. What is the number one piece of advice that you would give a version of your younger self?
What doesn't kill you and makes you stronger, and never give up.
Yeah.
But actually, I never give up. So.
Yeah.
But I'm crying a lot. So emotional. I would say that's to be more patient.
Yeah.
Because it means a lot, which I don't have. I'm always like, I want everything immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I think I had a conversation earlier today about being patient. I think a lot of times in life, we put these self-imposed deadlines, and we have this self-imposed sense of urgency to accomplish a thing now or as soon as possible. But there's not that big of a difference between accomplishing something today versus tomorrow. Like, yes, you can't put everything off. Yes, you have to adhere to deadlines. Yes, you should set goals and targets. But like, you don't need to have a heart attack about some of these things,
Sure. And I think life is about the process. So patient, because it's about the process. So you should feel comfortable in your process, that's it. The results and consequences will gonna come tomorrow.
Yeah. Where can the listeners go find you and your cafe at?
I think they can follow me on TikTok.
What's your TikTok handle?
Mamali.
Before we wrap this up, do you have anything that you wanted to share that we didn't cover?
So I have a chance to say thank you once again to my internet family, to being supportive and to stand by me, because I'm so happy and I'm smiling all the time. Because I don't know, even now too, I got the notifications from TikTok and from Instagram that they are still commenting, that you were so good, girl. Do your best, and forget about this job. We are stand by you, and this everything makes me happy, of course, and this everything happens during the whole day, and I'm so grateful of the universe that the things happen like this way, that I have this huge community right now. Yeah. And I was looking for the friends, to be honest, because I feel so alone here in Europe. But right now I have a lot of people around me. So I'm so grateful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you're building a community. You're building a destination spot, and, people will want to come and return. You got to create it. If that's what you want, you have to create it. Mari Mushku, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And I'm hopeful that your parents don't find this episode.
Yeah, it's okay if they were going to find for next year. But for now, they are so kind of typical Georgian parents, so strict. So what you doing, girl? They were going to be. Yeah, hopefully.
And that wraps up today's conversation on the Randall Osché Podcast. Thanks again to our guest for sharing their time, knowledge, and lessons with us. If the episode brought you any value, the best way to support the show is to follow or subscribe on your favorite platform. That helps us reach more people like you. You can also visit podcast.randallosché.com for blog posts, full transcripts, and other episode resources. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and keep moving forward.